So the message is pretty clear that we, the people, own this country, and that we are going to respect the rule of law, and we are going to stand up, and we are going to protect our democracy.
No kings, no thrones, no crowns.
When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her.
Look at this. Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump.
Terrified at her torment, they will stand far off and cry,
"This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
Woe to you, great city, you mighty city of Babylon! In 1 hour your doom has come. The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because no one buys their cargoes anymore."
We congratulate them on a apparently violent free speech exercise. But the irony of the message is pretty clear for everyone. If President Trump was a king, the government would be open right now. If President Trump was a king, they would not have been able to engage in that free speech exercise out on the mall, by the way, which was open because President Trump hasn't closed it. They needed a stunt. They needed a show. Chuck Schumer needs cover right now. He's closed the government down because he needs political cover, and this was a part of it.
They're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king.
Right. No, but just so that Chuck Schumer could go and say, I'm fighting Trump.
Well, Chuck is, at the end of the line. He's being beaten by everybody that they poll against him. They're referring to me as a king. I'm not a king.
Right.
Is a king. I'm not a king.
Right. No.
Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time. Thank you for pressing play, for spending a little time with me on my morning drive. Today is a huge day. Today is the 18th. It's also the 18th day of the government shutdown. Military, they're not getting paid for their service. Important intelligence organizations, they're not even in the office, right? Every other country, their government's up and running, but ours. Today is the 18th day of the shutdown. And of course, everybody's blaming everybody. Chuck Schumer's putting out videos, making the shutdown all about the old Epstein. Mike Johnson from the White House, he's of course saying that this is all the Democrats. Everybody's back and forth blaming everybody, but it's the 18th day. 18, it's an important number. Because today happens to also be the No Kings protest. Yeah, it's a big one. This one, came out of the blue, and everybody's promoting it. Kamala Harris is promoting it.
Hey everybody, so in our country, the power is with the people. And tomorrow, I encourage everyone to get out there in peaceful protest of what is happening in our country and express our voice around the country we believe in. So get out there and join the No Kings event near you, and please take care. I'll see you.
Bernie Sanders is taking his walk and doing his old influencer morning walk, talking about it. Everybody's gearing everybody up. Now, the good news is it seems like they're trying to do this peacefully. They're even having classes. They have morning Zooms on, this is how you handle the police. This is how you handle things if things are getting out of control. This is what you do if tear gas is thrown on you. Yeah, they have classes. They're organizing. Of course, I did a show on No Kings. This is why I'm coming to you today, because I got a little concerned when I saw the 18s everywhere. 18th day of the government shutdown. The protest on the 18th. The Strong's Concordance is one of many books that takes words that you'll find in the Bible, they attach a number to it, and then they'll give you the actual meaning of the word based on the number. And in Hebrew, what 1818 means, believe this, is bloodshed. Yes, like the shedding of blood for the remission of sin, which isn't a bad thing if you look at it that way. In Greek, on the other hand, it has to do with great deception. Like a deception so great, like the great delusion that's poured out in the land. Now here's weirder still. Revelation chapter 18:18 talks about the burning of that great city. the harlot, one that lived sumptuously, where all the people of the earth, they mourned at its destruction. This is Babylon the Great falling. Spiritually speaking, this is a wonderful thing if this is meant to be taken allegorically, and spiritually, literally not such a great thing if we see some kind of terrible stuff breaking out at these protests, which I, of course, try to head that off. I'm trying not to let fear motivate me, because a lot of times you can think the worst and then something wonderful comes out of it. And it was just all there to just scare you. I'm hoping that this event doesn't totally change the very fabric of our country.
Congratulate them on a apparently violent free speech exercise. I was a First Amendment lawyer for 20 years. We defend that right. But the irony of the message is pretty clear for everyone. If President Trump was a king, the government would be open right now. If President Trump was a king, they would not have been able to engage in that free speech exercise out on the mall, by the way, which was open because President Trump hasn't closed it.
Listen, I don't know about you, but things are getting harder and harder around the world. I'm working 2 jobs now, and it's interesting because it reminds me of the story of Jacob. In the Bible, his wages were changed 12 times. Every time you think you're doing well, it's like something comes at you. And I understand that this is like a refining process, but I get it. Like, I know that probably a lot of you are struggling because I get your emails, I get your comments. I myself am having a hard time right now, which is fine because we're waiting on like one of them credit cards that are interest-free. So I'm going to kind of funnel all this over here because, in my last video, if you didn't see my last video, I really hope that you check it out. I was explaining how in 1 Thessalonians 5, where it talks about peace and safety and then sudden destruction, is actually not a bad thing. It really is one of these things where if we're putting our faith in our own effort, if we're putting our faith in our own strength. Remember, I just did a video about Uzo touching the ark. The ark, of course, is being talked about a little bit in a roundabout way because Donald Trump is now bringing the Arc de Trump. They were calling it the Arch of Triumph. Of course, that made me think, well, I did videos about the Arch of Triumph back in the day. There are a lot of different arches of triumph. One of them was the Syrian one, which basically was an entrance to the Temple of Baal, where this entrance, this Arch of Palmyra, they called it at the time, was being brought around the country, and it was being brought to Washington. And now we're going to have the Arch of Triumph as well. It's strange, especially since when you watch these videos that I did years ago, it kind of puts things in perspective. X for the X app. Weird. A lot of weird things going on. I talked about Baal Anciaga recently. I want to remind everybody that I've been telling all of you about how from 2016 on, they marched the replica of the Syrian arch known as the Arch of Triumph. The Arch of Triumph. It's actually the Arch of Baal. Baal didn't win. Just want to let you know. So it's kind of funny to call it the Arch of Triumph. It's kind of shady. Little shady. An arch is very important because you have, kind of that cornerstone, the stone that kind of holds it all together. It's a picture of Christ. Darwin's arch, you probably remember back in the day, it's a rock formation. It collapsed. There is a feeling that right now, our country is very strong and everything is going well. And as we're facing Venezuela and Maduro, and, we have this little kind of shadow, we'll say, war going on with China economically, you feel like you're in a position of great insecurity, like anything could make things go worse, right? So like if we had the country get even more divided over something like today's event going south, but even in the midst of great turmoil, even in the midst of great, upheaval, something wonderful does come out of it. I just feel like we've been in the midst of upheaval for so long, and I feel like right now there isn't any common ground. And I put one of those little tests out there. This is something I do if you're new to the channel. Listen, I hope that you by now have hit the like button, and I hope that you have subscribed, and I hope that you're, the kind of people that aren't, too embarrassed or too lazy to, I'm not calling you lazy, but I hope you're not like that, where you wouldn't want to share my videos around, because that's the only way that, this channel will ever grow. And that the system isn't exactly for really people who are sincere about the things of God. The system is a little more into what the world wants and the world thinks. I want to see peace. I want to see joy. I want to see us come together. I want to see people turn into God in a way like never before. But we have a country that's so divided that we really do kind of need someone to stand up. And ironically, I had a vibe years ago that it would be John Fetterman. Why? Well, John, the fettered man. Fetter is chained. Chains, the man that's chained. I kind of put this little test out where I said, he's going to be the guy that's going to call for unity. And ironically, he was just on a show where he admitted that his whole family was basically conservative and Republican, and he was like the only Democrat on board. But a month exactly before he gave this beautiful speech, I said, isn't it time for John the fettered man to stand up and call for unity and call for peace and call an end to all of this nonsense? We need level heads. We need somebody.
And that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence and doing all these kinds of things like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. It's like, my God, he's a father. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things.
And he seems to be, a picture of, the common working man, I guess. He's been cast in the role, central casting, as Trump says all the time. And here we are, exactly 1 month from this post, exactly 1 month, and he's doing exactly what I said. So when things like this happen, I get encouraged. I get encouraged because I think to myself, okay, maybe things don't have to continue to get, so riotous and so crazy. Today, I want us all to, just pray that we see peace in our country. We see people coming together. We see commonality among people. It would be nice if we could get everybody to kind of get along and work together, because right now, a lot of people are missing out on their benefits because the government shut down. SNAP benefits are given out. Like millions of people are going to be missing out on important doctor appointments and more. It's not a great thing. We had a member of Congress standing up and saying that, the military is not to be paid. And I thought it was pretty cool that, the soon-to-be 1.7 trillionaire Elon Musk, because he has a $1 trillion pay package that they're putting through, and he's already worth $700 billion, so he'll be a 1.7, trillionaire. The first trillionaire ever, which, I did say he'd be the first guy. He said that he would foot the bill, which I thought was, pretty cool. Because a lot of these people that are serving our country, they're like you and I, maybe a little better, maybe a little bit worse, but living paycheck to paycheck. So we got to come together as a country. We got to come together as, children of God. We got to do the right thing. We got to love. We got to forgive. We got to stop being divisive. Get your act together. Get your family together. Stop worrying about if those bills are going to be met, and just, trust that God has it under control. This is what I'm telling myself. But if you would like to help with, all the stuff that I share here, and I would love for you to do that, please go into the description of the video. I'm not a ministry. I don't do little share-a-thons. I don't have a team working for me. I can't afford that. But it would be nice to have you support, whether it's by liking and sharing and commenting, whether it's by getting yourself some awesome, non-toxic, truly free home.com products, which you can get using code Jacob. You get 30% off, whether it's through PayPal. You can set up something there, whether it's through Patreon. We're going to be doing our meetup in just 2 weeks. All of these things really are what keeps this channel going and helps me to do more. Like, I'd love to advertise. I'd love to pay for some spots. I know a lot of channels do that. I don't have the money for that. So if you want to help the channel grow, all the links are in the description of the video. Just go to the bottom of the video on YouTube, click open, click more, go to the description, read, and then do what you want. Otherwise, send me an email, say hi, send me a DM, follow me on at X at JacobIsrael71, and thank you for all that you do, just for watching. That matters to me. All right? I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Teachers teach for hire. The evangelists speak of either no responsibility or infinite fire. For gain they remain, for name they claim the truth while proving to be liars. And I, Lord, I feel like a spider and a giant, seeking day and night and feeling like I'm never going to find it. Because your truth, few seem to wanna buy it. They build out of the reputations they've killed a kingdom that will become a funeral pyre. For the behavior of those who claim to be God, I have truly grown tired. Lord, when will you show the world if they be corrupt they will be fired? Or else, how will they know your kingdom in this life? They never know until this type of behavior they retire. And I, Lord, I feel like a spider and a giant, seeking day and